everyone. We are starting our cooking demo here at True North in just a couple minutes. So I'm going to hand off my phone to Chef AJ. This is Katie Mae, and we're going to make 4 tasty recipes. It's a loud crowd here, so don't mind the noise. I hope you enjoy it, and we'll start soon. My phone also might die, so if it dies, I apologize. We'll catch you later.
And if her phone dies, go over to Chef AJ Facebook, and I'll get the rest of the demo there. Oh, wait, why is this on me? Is this about you? Let's. There you go. If she wants to make it into a YouTube, it has to be this way. Sideways, so.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome.
Yeah, we need, Katie, the light is not very good. You look very dark. I wonder if we opened a window a little bit.
And close it a little.
Just
close because it's light.
I just because they can't see. You guys can't see her smoking hot figure if it's dark. No, it's too bright. Too bright. Let's see. Is there anybody here that knows anything about anything?
It's going to be worse. Close it.
Okay, close. Okay, there. It's okay. Yeah, you're looking good now. We'll just get closer.
Okay.
We can all turn our cell phone lights on.
You want the food, not
Yeah, everybody light a match.
Okay.
Yeah, that is weird that it's so dark in here.
We just need to try this. Is that better?
No, it's worse. Spotlight on Katie.
We need more like on this side, less on that.
Yeah. You know, because Katie, last time we did that, you were over there.
Yep. Well, you guys just have to come to True North next year. So,
Oh, come on, go in front.
okay.
You're fine.
So we're going to get started because I have 4 recipes for you, and that's more than I usually do here at True North. So we're going to try to pack it all in. Welcome. If anyone hasn't seen me before, I'm really excited you're here, and hopefully you take a lot away from this. And if you've seen me before, welcome back, and I'm glad you're attending again. And this is actually my boyfriend,
Ben.
Just getting started. He
Let's
is
see.
plant-based
Katie is a bit sideways. Yes, the image is sideways. All right, let's see if we can fix that. Katie, could you just do the demo sideways? Now it should. Okay. All right, how do we fix this? Is this better, live audience?
So,
No, always horizontal.
Always, yeah,
That's always
that's
gotta be
never
It looks terrible on YouTube. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
horrible.
That's what you're doing Facebook.
Yeah.
but it was
It
already.
doesn't flip. Once you do start one way.
Do you know anything about Facebook Live?
Yeah,
It doesn't
go to
change
it.
Hey,
Either way,
It won't.
Okay.
however you hold it, the person who's watching is going to have to hold it.
Well, I really
Is she
I'm
still
excited to share
sideways,
this
Joanne DePizzo?
with the Facebook community,
Yes,
but honestly, it's about everyone here. So I apologize whichever way you're watching it if it's not right, but
Hey, listen, a sideways Katie Mae is better than no Katie Mae, and you guys are getting this for free.
okay. So let's get started. We have 4 recipes that could be used for holiday dishes. So these are all definitely doable for the holidays, but they're also very different than what you would usually do for the holidays. Not only are they plant strong, but they got my special twist on them.
Okay.
So we are going to start with my Brussels sprout salad.
Lee
which-
Fisher says hi.
Hi, Lee. Hi, everyone out there. Excited you're joining me, and I wish
And Marie
everyone,
Reddy
if everyone,
says
anyone has to step out, I don't think that's going to be the case today, but I understand. Happy holidays
get
now.
Marie Reddy says you're not sideways, so you know we're just gonna go with it. You look good to me.
Then there might be a chairs in the back if you want to squeeze back. Okay. So we have Brussels sprouts going to go in here, and I'll try to talk a little bit about my story and my background as we go, but I'm going to just start with the food right away so we get you samples and eating. The Brussels sprouts are shredded. You can shred them with a food processor or cut them up. So these are little cabbages, and they're all layered, right? So you just need to cut them in half, and then do a julienne cut on them, so they're in little strips.
Did you know you can buy them already shredded at Costco and Trader Joe's?
Actually, no. That is awesome. Highly
Talk
recommended.
to Ramsey's
This
about
is a
it. He says
meditative
not to
process,
do it.
though. If you're doing it by hand, enjoy it. You know,
Plus
or
you
give
can
it to
get
the kids or your husband or someone else. So they're a fun way to have Brussels sprouts, all shredded up, and they cook pretty fast. A lot of my vegetables, when I saute them on the stove top like this, you can do without any water added. The Brussels sprouts don't have a lot of water in them as much as like onions do. So I add a little bit of water at the bottom, and that way we're also steaming them. That technically would be braising because there's a little bit of water at the bottom. But in order for them to cook evenly, we need to stir them often because the water's only reaching the bottom layer. So we're just going to stir that occasionally. We're also going to throw in some dates, diced dates for sweetness. So if you know anyone that doesn't like Brussels sprouts, give them this recipe or make them this recipe, and you're going to convert them pretty quickly. So we're going to turn this up to medium-high heat. I'm going to stand here and watch them. We also have apples to go in. The apples are crispy. They're actually already tossed with lemon juice. So if you are doing this on your own, the lemon would come separate, of course. But these can go in at the beginning. I like to add them at the end so they have a nice cold crispness against the hot salad, right? So we're going to let this just cook up on its own. And you want to put the dates in the beginning and mix them in so the sweetness gets dispersed, right? You're balancing the slight bitterness of the Brussels sprouts. Okay. And this doesn't have any spices or herbs added, which is unusual for my dishes. But if you wanted to, you could add garlic or onion, make it a sweet and savory salad. Okay? So while that cooks, I also have toasted pecans are going to go on top. Pecans are totally optional. I know a lot of people don't like nuts. I know AJ doesn't do nuts.
It's not that they don't like them, they don't like me.
AJ likes them too much.
Yeah, exactly.
I like them a lot too. I am very intentional about adding them in small amounts. And what really gets me to overeat is when I have too much sugar and nuts combined, like sugar and fat combined. So if I don't, I don't do a lot of ice cream, homemade ice creams, even though they're plant-based and whole food, that would just send me over the edge. So, and I also keep all my nuts in the freezer, so I don't eat them by the handful. They only go in recipes, and I only pull them out of the freezer for a specific dish.
Wait, you don't put what in the freezer though?
I put my nuts and seeds in the freezer, so they're kind of out of sight, and they only pull them out if I need them.
Smart.
Yeah.
Do they stay together?
No. Depending on how cold your freezer is, the cans might be a little frosty and cold, but the nuts and seeds are fine.
How long can you keep them in the freezer?
I would say a long time, easily 6 months. You could go probably a year with no big deal. So these are cooking. Let's stir this one more time before I move on. Brussels sprouts are my favorite vegetable. And I bet your kids would like them too. If you give the kids a vegetable more than once and don't tell them they don't like it, they're gonna like it. You gotta serve it right. You gotta learn how to cook. My mom always told me I wouldn't like Brussels sprouts. Kids don't like Brussels sprouts, and now it's my favorite vegetable. So you never know. Let's go on to our, what do we do next? Tempeh. Let's make our Tempeh Reuben. So instead of a turkey or a ham or pork, my family always had like 3 different meat options at the holidays. We can do tempeh, and often the plant-based and vegan communities choose something like seitan, the seitan loaf. There's a name for it.
Field roast?
Field roast, yes. And it's all gluten. It's not healthy, and yes, it's tasty, but it is not healthy for you. It's maybe worse than some of the meat products because of how much oil and processed gluten there is. So instead, we're going to do tempeh, and this, I'm flavoring it Reuben style, but it's really about the tempeh being very tender and flavorful. So if you wanted to, you could also flavor this with more of like a poultry seasoning or holiday spices. However you flavor your meat, you can flavor the tempeh. Okay, so there's 2 ways to marinate tempeh. You could do marinate it the way you would meat or tofu. You put it in a bag with the sauce overnight if possible. Or you can put it into a pan like we have here. This is a big saute pan. It's got a 3-inch side, so you can fit a lot in it. We're going to add 1.5 cups of water. And you add the marinade. That's a total estimate. You add the marinade first and get it heated. And then this way I'm going to be able to mix it too. Ooh, the mother. We talked about this last week. Sitting on the bottom. So this is apple cider vinegar, the healthiest vinegar there is. So if you have a choice, go with the apple cider. We're going to do
What do you think of the
quarter
rice
cup
vinegar that they have here?
of vinegar. Oh, rice vinegar is good too, but it's not like health promoting. It's not bad for you in any way, unless someone is sensitive to vinegars. So quarter cup of the apple cider. And then we're going to do a little bit of mustard too. This is Westbury Natural Mustard. It is a salt-free mustard. So it's the only salt-free one I know of. Does anyone know of any other salt-free mustard? So Westbury Natural. We're doing 2 tablespoons. This, yep. And this you want to mix in. So let's just mix it in with a little. Got a whisk here.
Hey, whisk you a Merry Christmas.
Who's gonna be in? We're doing a talent show.
Are you going to
this
be in
year.
it, Katie?
I don't know what I would do.
You could just cook. You look.
Actually, I thought of a really funny thing, but I'm going to show you today, so it would be silly.
Oh, save it for New Year's Eve.
It's only a 2-minute thing.
That's okay. I think you should save it.
By the way, everybody here, think about what your talent is. Even if you have none, it'll be funny, I promise. People that are fasting, they think everything's funny, so.
Except no one's fasting. Who's fasting today? Oh, wow. You guys are troopers.
Let's show the audience.
More for us.
Wow, look at all these, you poor people out there that didn't get to come to True North for the holidays. I don't mean poor like as in financially poor, I meant like, like unfortunate. Sorry, because this is like the cheapest
Who's
place.
had tempeh before? Who's not had tempeh? How about that? Okay. Is anyone scared of tempeh?
What is
It is it's a little scary looking, honestly. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about. Tempeh is soybeans and so is tofu. But tofu is more processed. Tofu is from soy milk that's been coagulated the way they do cheese. And so it is pretty bland in flavor. There's no fiber, and it's got a cheesy, curdled consistency depending on how thick you get it, how firm you get it. Tofu is soybeans that have been fermented. So they have a healthy bacteria added, and it's cultured so that that bacteria grows, and it's the fermentation that makes it so healthy for us. Dr. Greger actually says it's the healthiest form of soybeans, even healthier than edamame, which is the raw soybeans.
Did you put the liquid smoke in?
No, I didn't. We'll talk about that in a minute. The tempeh, you can see I'm slicing at an angle here. So a lot of times I just dice my tempeh, pretty simple. But with this, I like having it sliced at a thinly, and then at an angle so that it fits well on sandwiches if you would eat it that way, or not. It's just a different way to cut it, and it makes you think you're eating, it doesn't make you think you're eating sliced meat, but it's a little more like that. So we're slicing at an angle here. And you could do even sharper angle. And then we're going to put this right into our marinade.
Which was apple cider and
Apple cider vinegar, water, and mustard. And we're going to add seasonings. Ooh! Look at that while you're up there. We're going to add spices here, too. Let's stir our Brussels sprouts. So this isn't burning because we have water on the bottom of the pan here, but you want to make sure everything's cooking evenly, so it's got to be stirred. Okay, so now the spices. These are key spices to Reuben, and it's so simple. A couple bay leaves,
why? Do you know how Reuben got its name?
No, do you?
No, but somebody Google it. Wouldn't that be interesting? Because we know how Caesar salad got his name from the chef Caesar, somebody Cardini or something like that.
Let
Whoever
us
Googles
know.
it first gets a prize. A free date with Katie Mae. She'll make you dinner. Is that okay, Beth?
At Plant Street. It's got to be next week.
Okay.
So we're adding some freshly ground black pepper. These are black peppercorns, just freshly ground. It makes the difference. You can just do it by hand, but they're going to be a lot more flavorful that way. And then some caraway seeds.
Okay, we have the answer. A Reuben sandwich.
Which is more flavorful, did you say? Brown pepper?
Ground, freshly ground versus,
When you freshly.
yeah, even I have store-bought black pepper here that's ground. This freshly ground is much better.
So you
And
ground
it's
it at
coarser
home.
too. Yes, I just put it in a spice grinder.
We know why Reuben got its name.
So wait, we're at half, or 1 whole tablespoon of caraway seeds too.
Wow.
Okay.
Reuben Kulakovsky, a Jewish-Lithuanian grocer in Omaha, Nebraska, was the inventor. So if you ever watch Jeopardy or play Trivial Pursuit, you're going to know now. It was at the Blackstone Hotel. It is weekly poker game in 1920s. So pretty cool.
1920. Is he Irish?
Jewish-Lithuanian.
Not an Irish dish.
No, it's Jewish boy.
Yeah, Reuben is Jewish.
It's a Jewish
Corn-
sandwich.
Yeah, right. So I was saying not Irish.
Oh,
Nope. The cabbage is
It's
Irish.
big in Ireland though,
Yeah, they're
like the Irish community, but it's not from the Irish
Now
community.
there's a interesting. I like this.
So my mom actually, maybe she'll watch this at some point, but I gave a cooking demo in Seattle. I don't know, over the Thanksgiving break, and it was at her home, and she was telling everyone how amazing this Reuben is. This is a TrueNorth style though, without any of the sauerkraut, and it's just simpler, and it's got all these cabbage and onions added, which we're just putting on top here. But the Reuben, yep, it's right in the middle, cabbage and onion. So we're just putting this on top here. We're gonna steam it until it's soft enough, and then we can stir it. We'll actually flip the tempeh
Did you cut your cabbage manually, or did you use some type of machine?
manually. I do manual whenever I can, unless I'm doing like 2 or 3 batches of something for Dr. McDougall's demo where there are like 60 people eating. I like to do everything by hand because it's moving your body. This is why I have a storefront location, Culinary Gym, and I have an online training. Online Culinary Gym is because I want you moving your bodies. We're talking about how to eat healthy, how to eat the way our ancestors ate. No processed food, all whole foods. But no one thinks about how they prepared their food. And not just how they prepared it, but how they gathered it. They were going out and picking their berries, or, hopefully they weren't catching any fish, but they were gathering all their vegetables. And even when we developed the agriculture, when we started adding in more of the grains and legumes, they're in the fields picking all those things. And what are we doing today? You think it's good enough to just eat these plant foods. It's not. We still have a weight issue. And even if you get to a healthy weight and you're not moving your body, you're going to be lethargic. You're not using your muscles. A lot of the people, if you look at the difference between the vegan bodybuilders and some of the doctors who are eating plant-based, I'd say a lot of it's because they're not moving their bodies so much. We're living really old, to old ages, but it's the doctors like Colin Campbell and Clapper. They're actually going on bike rides and running at their elderly age, 80 years old, and they're still running and biking.
But if you don't have the time, like it's not your career, you only have a few hours, could you put that in the food processor to do it, to make it like
Absolutely.
that? Okay.
Yeah, and even doing that, every time you cook at home, even if you use the food processor, it's still moving your body. So I'm not against convenience in the kitchen. I just want to emphasize that it makes a difference getting in the kitchen.
What about the bay leaf? Did you stick it in while we were talking
Yes.
about the Reuben stuff?
Yes,
Okay.
and I stuck in actually a few bay leaves.
And the liquid smoke.
And the liquid smoke, I'm going to ask you guys if you want to add it. Because here's the deal. I have 2 liquid smokes here. This first one is from Whole Foods Market. It is, the brand is Hickory. No, it's Lazy Kettle brand. Dr. Greger has a video on liquid smoke that shows there's a compound in here that raises your IGF-1, I think it is, and which is a biomarker for inflammation. Or it might raise something else. I think it's P53. I'm not sure what P53 does, but you can watch his video. And he shows in his video a chart from the research study of the different liquid smokes, and it shows which ones are best and which ones are not. The one from Whole Foods was actually at the bottom of the list. But this is inconclusive research. We don't know what that increase in P53 actually causes.
Bottom of the list meaning the worst or
The worst, or one of the worst.
What would,
So
what
then I
would
looked
Gold,
online for one of the best.
what does Goldhammer say about it?
Same as nutritional yeast, which we're going to use. We need more evidence,
So a condiment
and we don't
only.
use it here at TrueNorth. But he's okay with teaching it because people are going to use it at
At
home,
home.
and it's helping you be sustainable, right? So the one that was near the top of the list, I bought without checking the ingredients, and I brought it into class a couple weeks ago, and it actually has sugar and salt in it. So it's not giving you that increase in the P53, but it has a couple additives. So I'm going to pass them around. Does anyone have a preference? We could just leave them out. Let's leave them out.
Yes.
Okay, that's
When
what I
in
was gonna
doubt,
do.
leave it out.
Oh,
Does it
When in
take
doubt,
much away
leave
from
it
it? It smells
No,
really good.
and I thought actually just opening it up
I
in the
almost wore my
room
pink shirt
while
today.
you're eating it
We
would
went
be
out.
significant because you get the flavor or you get the aroma and a lot of a big part of flavor. There's a difference between taste and flavor. Taste is bittersweet, salty, sour, umami. Flavor is all of those tastes plus the mouth feel and the heat, the texture on your lips and in your tongue, and the aroma and your spiritual, mental, emotional feelings about the food. All of that goes into flavor. So just opening it up might be a good idea. All right, our Brussels sprouts are done. Look at them. They were bright before. Do you want to look at them now? They changed color just a little bit, but you can tell when they're done because of this color.
Smells good. Too bad there's not Facebook smell-o-vision, you guys.
So now we're just going to toss in the apples
Wow.
and the pecans. If you don't think you're going to eat all of this when you're making it at home, add the pecans last so that they don't get soggy. I expect this to be gone.
Because none of you guys like your nuts soggy.
I can't decide if this is like dessert or like a main meal.
This is an extra big batch of this recipe.
I thought that was my serving.
Yeah, exactly. When I make the recipe, just one recipe, I could eat it all myself.
Yeah.
You know, the way we eat salads. So it could also be 4 side salads, depending on how you add the apples here. Yes, I just added them. So, Sheeta, would you mind helping, actually? What, you want to help with samples?
Sure.
I'm stealing Chef AJ's assistant.
I'm
Is that
charging.
okay?
I'll charge you. Oh, we both said it.
The two Jews. We're charging. We're charging. Does anybody know when Hanukkah is?
Hanukkah's tonight.
Ooh, I got Hanukkah recipes I'm supposed to share.
We should light the menorah.
We should sing our...
Okay.
Hey, would you mind holding those for me so I can show the live studio audience?
Yes.
We've got one called Stubbs. That's a nice name. Stubbs. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, and everyone keep your plates because who's eating? You don't want to run out of plates.
Okay, let me just show the labels.
That's not a good one.
Right, let me show them.
I'm turning down the heat. I'm gonna let this cook for a little while because I want to get our next dish in the oven. So I'm turning it down to low heat and we're just gonna let it simmer, and that's how you get the tempeh really tender. And I haven't flipped it yet, so the tempeh is what is sitting in all of the liquid. The cabbage is not. So I'm marinating the tempeh. Right? Questions? You guys just saying you're eating? Okay.
So, the question is that, so it's supposed to be like
Are you eating?
sauerkraut-ish. Is that Reuben's is always
Yes.
sauerkraut.
So the cabbage and onion instead of the sauerkraut.
But are you, when you said you're gonna flip it, it feels to me like this cabbage and onion, in order to be more sauerkrauted, need the vinegar, the apple cider vinegar.
Well, you could add more vinegar. You could actually marinate the onions and cabbage separately in the vinegar. That would give you even stronger flavor. That's a good idea. I try to go back or balance convenience, flavor, what people will really do. So that's an extra step, but it would add more flavor for sure. Okay, so our next recipe.
What are you guys saying? The ones that have tasted?
Brussels sprouts.
Would you mind saying that again?
It's delicious.
Okay, and what do you think, young man?
She,
Oh, young. Is
she's
it girl or
very
boy?
feminine, and she's gonna go. I don't think so.
What's her name?
Bella.
Bella.
Do you have a recipe for the?
Do you like it?
Wait.
Oui? Oh, français.
Yes,
We have a French teacher here. Look at the blackboard, guys. You could be here doing all these wonderful activities.
But I don't.
I do the board when I'm here. I spent an hour last weekend, and I hope whoever thinks they're doing
I
it
have a
will
recipe
do it
club,
because
which I'll
they
talk
think
about. Battery is getting low. I wonder if that's.
All right, well, we'll try again. We ended it, and we're starting again.
Okay,
Hey,
so-
guys, we're reconnecting part 2 of the live
We're
cooking demo
starting
with Katie
our
Mae from
spinach
TrueNorth.
artichoke dip here with the onions in the saute pan. No water added. My style of sauteing vegetables is no liquid added. A lot of plant-based chefs that are cooking without oil add water or vegetable broth. I like doing zero, because you get more flavor that way. You get the caramelized, or the vegetable, whatever it is, caramelizing more without any liquid. Then if it starts to brown, if it starts to get too dry, then you can add a little bit of liquid. Any stainless steel pan works great. I didn't mention the name of this pan. This pan right here is the Scan Pan. The Scan Pan is by far one of my favorite pot brands, also the Berndes. But this style pan, if you could only get one pan,
That's it?
I would get this pan. It's big. It's like 12-inch, 3 by 12 inches, and I keep it on my stovetop all day long because I use it so often. What's the name of it again? Scan Pan. And they have induction. I'm using the induction one right now, but they also have one that is not. And I have both.
CANPAN?
Yes. And they, it's a non-stick pan, but it's really high quality, so you don't have to worry about like Teflon or anything like that. And you can do all of the oil-free cooking in the stainless steel pans, except for if it comes to like veggie burgers or hash browns, certain things like that. It's just easier to use the Scan Pan.
What do you think of it's called the Esri or the?
Azeri
Azeri.
is a pan that Chef Bravo has. It's like $35, $40, and I've used it a couple times. It's awesome, but I don't have it at home yet.
Yeah.
But this one is an investment. But for $150 or so around there, it will last you just as long as your like Vitamix. It's worth the investment.
What was the other one besides steam?
Berndes, Berndes. We
Have you
use
tried Copper Chef?
no
Oh my God, nothing sticks.
Copper Chef.
Copper Chef.
The other one is Salad Master, is another one, but that's really expensive.
What you were gonna say about Berndes, what?
It's the same as Scan Pan, same level, non-stick, high quality. Is Copper Chef non-stick too?
How much is that?
75, 70?
Okay,
Wait,
Let's-
can I ask you a question?
yeah.
So for sauteing the onion and the garlic, you said you put in a little bit of water at first? Or
no, zero.
Zero
But
water?
I put in the onion, always put in onion. You want your juicy and hard vegetables in first. You want the juicy vegetables there to create moisture, and then your hard vegetables like carrots because they take longer to cook.
Okay.
So when I add onion or garlic without any oil, I add it after the veggies have started creating the moisture.
The juicy and hard one.
Right.
Okay, got it.
Yes. So, and I am doing a culinary training, an online training in January. If anyone wants to join and get all of these details, it's not about recipes as much as the skills in the kitchen, and it's going to be really fun. I'll talk more about that if anyone is interested. But this is what I was going to do for the talent show. Not really, but if I had any skills, this could be cool. So what you do to peel the garlic, you can actually put it into the mason jar here, close the lid, and this is one of the best kitchen workouts. So, what do you do with this? Has anyone done this at home? So let's just shake this up. Do a little jumping.
You know, but if you wore the right outfit, this could be your talent on New Year's Eve. It's almost like a tribal dance. You got more likes for that than anything you've done so far. I'm telling you, Katie, I don't know. You know, you're a good cook, but I think you got other talents that have yet to be.
Fitness, baby.
How did you figure that out?
I saw someone else do it.
Let me see the clothes so they can.
So there was one time, last week I did this, and all of them opened up.
Yep.
Oh
But-
my God.
Emma says, "Go get him, Katie." Lewis says, "Merry Christmas, Katie."
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
So
Now, if you want to know how she got that figure, it was from peeling garlic.
yeah, but that helps with the stamina. I ran 4.5 miles yesterday, which was, I'm working up to a half marathon. But doing little things like that, if you can't get out for a run, you talk about not having time. This is how you build or just keep your muscles, is by doing daily activities.
So cute.
So we're going to stir these onions so they don't brown on the bottom.
Can't do
And
that
then-
while you're fasting.
Whatever doesn't get broken up the first time, you can put back in and do again. And if you are like working up to this, you can also cut off the little ends. That kind of opens it up, and then put it back in. Got a brown spot there. And then all you do to get rid of all the skins is run it under cold water, or any water.
Evie says, "Cool trick." You know what? If you got a bunch of people doing this, you could get like a band. I'm telling you.
That's what we should do for the talent show.
If
Get some
Goldhammer
music
hasn't
going.
seen this, he's one of the judges. I think this should be done on New Year's Eve with the appropriate costume, and there's a chance you could win.
What's the costume?
Well, a little bit less than what you're wearing now.
So even if you're gonna peel, if they're not completely done, they're easy enough, they're broken, that you can peel it by hand. So we'll have to work on those muscles by the talent show. Maybe that's the, if I can get it one done in one try.
Costco has bags of them peeled already.
What fun is that?
That's for us lazy people, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna just mince these. You can ask your question.
Yeah, I have an iron skillet, cast iron skillet.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I'm just a teeny bit anemic, so I do need iron. But it's really hard for me to come up with recipes where, I mean, I'm always using my stainless, I'm always using something that's non-stick, and I'm always using pressure cooker. And because everything sticks to the cast iron. So what do you suggest for making things in cast irons when I still get a little iron in my life?
I think I would recommend an iron supplement over a cast iron pan.
Not necessarily a simply iron.
Whichever one is best. There's some supplements that work better than others. My friend, AJ knows Gavin. He is a runner and he's plant-based and he has serious issues with getting enough iron. And so he's done a ton of research. He's kind of an extreme situation. He has to take it via IV. But I know that through his experience, there's some supplements that work better. But if you want to cook with the iron pan, then I guess that's your choice. But I don't have any recommendations as far as the best way to absorb all that. The vitamin C was good, but you can do that in any pan to absorb more iron. Okay, so we're going to add our garlic. Make sure you don't get any of the garlic skins in there. And I'm going to grab we need a dish to put our spinach artichoke dip in, our pie dish. So I'll be right back.
This is Chef AJ broadcasting live from True North. Katie Mae went to get a dish. Oh, hi, Roz. I know you. And I saw Pina on here. I know you. It's okay. Walk by. You can't see me. So how y'all doing? The first episode she made was a tempeh-inspired Reuben without bread, gluten-free, of course. And she is making a spinach artichoke dip right now. And we are at TrueNorth Health in Santa Rosa, California, which is a really awesome place to go. If you have a health condition that you maybe want to reverse, it's a great place. They do therapeutic water-only fasting, and you can be an unrestricted feeder like me. And here's Katie Mae back.
Okay, welcome back. I'm welcome myself back, I guess. We are going to, oh, thank you. Now it's time for the food processor. Grab this out. We're going to put together this spinach artichoke dip now. Okay? So, the one recipe that we are not making in class that I gave you is a cashew cream cheese. This was actually inspired by Miyoko Schinner. You guys know Miyoko? She was the author of Artisan Vegan Cheese. It's amazing cheeses, but they're not all SOS free. I try to make some of them SOS free. Well, not exactly those ones, but this one is a cream cheese my friend came up with. It's basically Miyoko's recipe, except instead of Reuben-Style, it has either a yogurt starter or miso added. Miso has a lot of salt, so I recommend doing the Reuben-Style if you can. You could actually make it yourself from quinoa, and it takes a couple days, but it's pretty simple to do, and it just gives the cheese a really nice tanginess, that fermentation. You can do this without. And coconut, and then put it in your fridge overnight. Let it separate.
What is that you just put in the blender?
So I added the cashew cheese, which we're going to do a little bit more of.
No.
And then
Second.
the onion and garlic.
Oh.
Sauteed first. You could do raw, but you're going to get more flavor, and it's better nutritionally, actually, if you saute the onion and garlic, too.
Katie, when you were talking about Reuben-Style, how much of that do you add?
For like 2 cups of cashews, maybe 1/4 to 1/2 cup of Reuben-Style. So my artichoke dip here, we're doing 1.5 cups of this cashew cheese, and you can see, I'll pass this around. Don't stick your nose in it. Don't stick your fingers in it. But you can see that it's spongy. Like once it starts fermenting, it gets all this air in there. Have you ever made this, AJ?
No, it looks like I made cashew cream cheese. I haven't made
But
your
not
dip. It looks fantastic.
No, I mean the ferment.
I have. And I use a little bit of yogurt. I use the non-dairy
That's what
yogurt.
around we can stick our fingers in.
You got a sample? No, don't put your sample spoons in there either.
What
We've got germs that way.
is Reuben-Style?
Reuben-Style.
What is
It's actually fermented grains. So the grains are sprouted, and the water is the Reuben-Style.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you use that for?
Yes. Would you mind asking them for a big saute pan? Or any pan. Any pan I can put kale in.
I would like to smell it.
Okay, so we're going to keep adding our ingredients here. A little bit of nutritional yeast. This is 1/2 cup. And then Benson's Table Tasty. I'll pass all these around. You can see the nutritional yeast. We don't use here in the kitchen. Thank you so much. But it's a cheesy product. It's nice to add to cheeses that you're making or just sprinkle on top of vegetables, but I don't recommend using it all the time. Just on occasion, it's a nice ingredient to have. The Benson's Table Tasty here, who has this at home?
Love it.
So tasty.
It's the best
It actually-
salt-free seasoning there is.
For 4 years being plant-based, I didn't use it until like last Christmas when I started dating this guy. His mom was like, "Oh my God, you don't use this?"
And if you
I
use my
tried it.
name, you get 10% off at the website with my name, Chef AJ.
Chef AJ. So I'm gonna pass this around. You can't get it in the store. You have to order it online.
You can get, you can get it, I think, over
You can get it at Amazon.
at the market across the street.
Not
There's a
Benson's.
no
She's a private smoke.
There's lots of no salt seasonings, but not Benson's. Table
Benson's is the
Tasty.
most realistic.
It is the most saltiest. So I'm gonna pass this around. You can check it out. You just add a little bit of that, and we're gonna do some apple cider vinegar again. 1 tablespoon. So here, if you don't have the fermented cheese, add an extra tablespoon. Black pepper. This I don't use the freshly ground black pepper because I just want it dispersed a little bit more and I don't want as strong of a pepper flavor. We'll do half a teaspoon. By the way, these are magnetic double-sided measuring spoons. Very, very handy. You don't have to wash them after each use because you got 2 sides. So we're going to add our pan over here. We're going to put a little bit of water in here. This is actually how I love to have, I love having veggies in the morning. And sometimes I put them in the pressure cooker, but I broke a pressure cooker accidentally. And when that happened, before I could buy a new one, I had to go to the stovetop. And so what I did was just put a little bit of water on the bottom of the pan, maybe half a cup, depends on how big the pan is, how many veggies you have. And then put your greens in. So we're steaming the greens like this, but we're keeping them right in the water, so it's technically braising them. And we'll put this lid on, and then we don't stir it. So you're actually going to brown the bottom layer of the kale a little bit, which adds a little more flavor. So if you want to, you can stir it and just have, basically sauteed kale. But this way, we'll get a little bit of that brown on the bottom. It adds a lot of flavor. So those cookbooks that are going around are all electronic cookbooks. So they're all online. And I know a lot of you may already have them. If you're interested in getting them, they're $20 for all 4. You see an Italian, a Mexican, and a potato cookbook out there. There's also a dessert cookbook. The dessert is 60 recipes.
Can you kale on the other pan instead?
This one? Yes. And that's what I would have done if I didn't have the tempeh in here. So while that kale's cooking, it won't take too long, I'm going to flip the tempeh. Is the cheese still going around? Yeah. Okay. So we're going to flip the tempeh with this big spatula. You can use any spatula, but this one's really nice and big. It's a Joseph is the brand. So
You gotta practice.
you get under here.
Leslie Parker joined us. She came to TrueNorth for the Extravaganza a couple of years ago.
And we're just going to flip this. And it's not going to be, you're not flipping all of it. It's not like a pancake. But you just don't want to stir it as much because you don't want to break up the tempeh too much. It's going to be tender, so it's going to fall apart a little bit, but we want to try to keep it in pieces.
If you broke up your tempeh too much, you might get angry and you don't want to lose your tempeh.
So witty. So we're just going to put that lid back on and let it cook for a little bit longer. Our kale here is nice and steamed.
Wow.
Ooh.
So thick, and there's no stirring. I've maybe put a little too much water in there. Because it would take a little bit of time to brown in the bottom. What I could do is take the lid off, let the water evaporate, and let it keep cooking.
How much was the spatula?
I got it years ago. But that being said, years ago, and it's not like crumpled up at the bottom, which happens a lot with plastic spatulas. So I'm guessing $10.
What brand?
Joseph. Yes. Okay. So this kale, we're actually going to add at the end. So I'm going to let it continue to saute. We'll actually turn up the heat here. We have artichokes here. which you don't see a lot in the plant-based, especially the TrueNorth diet, because actually I looked up the process to process the artichoke on your own, and it is extensive. And I didn't find that realistic for anyone else to do. So I got the canned artichoke, but I soaked them overnight. And actually I soaked it in the distilled water overnight because I had access to that. So if you're doing this, you should have come in. At home, just soak them overnight and change the water a couple times so you continue to leach out or bring out the salt. Okay, and you can do that with anything that has salt in it, like the pickles or any canned ingredient that you want to have, depending on how sensitive you are. Right? So I'm hoping this is okay with you. A little bit.
Do you use frozen artichokes?
Yeah.
They don't seem to have the salt in them, the frozen artichokes.
I didn't even know there were frozen.
Trader
artichokes.
Joe's.
I love it. So use frozen. Let them defrost first and strain out the water, any excess water. So we're going to plug this in. Get this up here. And we're just going to pulse this.
What kind of processor is that?
This is a Cuisinart, and it's a 12-cup on the bottom, and there's a 4-cup container in the middle. You can't see it right now, but the 4-cup container goes right inside, so it's a large food processor and a small one in one, and it's really handy to have that because you don't have to have multiple things on your countertop, and if you have space, even if it's borderline space, I would keep your appliances on the countertop because you'll use it so much more. Unless you really want to be lifting the food processor in and out of the... Yeah, it's good, but are you going to do it? It's the question. So we're going to add our artichoke. Normally I'd put this into a bowl and mix it with the kale, but I'm going to just save us a step and not use the bowl. So we'll get this out of the way. And our containers here, we have 2 containers. I use a pie pan at home, but the pie pan has a little bit taller edge, so this one's a little short. So I'm thinking we're gonna need another container. All right. So many dishes. So let's get our little spatula somewhere. And we're just going to scoop this into the dish. Careful of the blade. You can pull that blade out. And this, even without the kale, really good. You could do spinach too. The recipe I think actually calls for spinach. Do either one. The spinach I would not steam ahead of time. If you wanted to, you could put it in with the onion for just like a second, 30 seconds, just to soften it. But it's going to cook, even the warmth of the onion and garlic in here will start to warm the spinach up, and then it's going in the oven. So you don't want to overcook it too much. But, I mean, that's not really
So are you saying don't
a big
put it in, don't cook the spinach, is that what you're saying?
yes. But once you see, depending on how long you leave it in for there in the oven, your kale is going to be pretty cooked. So I don't think you should be stressing over the nutrients in your greens with this dish. So let's add our kale in. Oh, that smells so good. I think we might fit this all in one dish.
We'll eat it, whatever dishes.
Turn off the stove. the dino kale or lacinato kale.
Yeah, that's my favorite kale.
But you could use curly too.
So nice.
Again, this is easier to mix together in a bowl. And if you're worried about presentation, I would also do this in a bowl, so you don't make a mess with your dish. If you wanted to, you could sprinkle a little extra nutritional yeast on top here, or a little extra black pepper. You could also mix in, if you want to add more vegetables, you can do other things. You could add mushrooms or bell pepper, mix in cilantro or mint, basil. Does anyone have the Flavor Bible?
What?
Oh, I just gave you the best Christmas gift ever. So, the Flavor Bible by Ellen Page is an encyclopedia of food. And you're not going to read it cover to cover, but it is like literally a Bible of plants. Now, I'm talking about the vegetarian Flavor Bible. The first one was not vegetarian, but the vegetarian one does have cheese in it, so you got to look over the cheese. But it gives you each food, and then tells you all of the foods that pair well with it. It has a lot of other characteristics, like how much nutrition, the macronutrient breakdown, the best ways to cook that food, things like that. But my favorite piece is that it tells you what goes well with those foods. So here, you could actually look up artichoke and see which herbs go best with artichoke. And then you can compare, if you also have kale and you have onion in here, see which herbs go best with that. So get an idea. Even if you have a dish and you're deciding whether to add lemon or lime. I know from experience that lemon goes better with Italian, lime goes better with Spanish or Mexican. But if you're questioning it, you can go to the Flavor Bible really easily and find things out. And so it's really helpful for making substitutions, but also developing recipes or just day-to-day cooking.
And the author again?
Ellen Page. Ellen.
And doesn't she have a
Karen
vegetarian Flavor Bible now too?
Yes, Karen Page.
I think she has a
Yes,
vegetarian
that's the one
Flavor
I'm talking
Bible.
about. I don't recommend the other one. Only the vegetarian Flavor Bible. And she was not vegetarian before. She went vegetarian. I think this is on the podcast with Plant Yourself podcast with Howard Jacobson. He interviewed her, and she says that she went plant-based for the flavor. Everyone talks about the animals and the health, but she did it because it tasted better. So I think that's really cool. Plant Yourself podcast by Howard Jacobson, who's the co-author of the book Full with Colin Campbell. Really awesome. AJ was on there. I was on there. Kathy was. I don't know if Ramses was, but there's also Rich Roll is a great plant-based podcaster, and there's someone else who talks about fasting a lot too. Does anyone know?
Wait, which?
No, not Rich Roll. R-O-L-L.
It's a really good podcast.
The one, Ben, do you know the one your dad listens to? She talks about fitness, My Fitness or Fitness Pal. Found My Fitness is a really great one, all plant-based, and she talks a lot about fasting and intermittent fasting. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to put this in the oven. It's 350 convection, probably 20 minutes. No cover. Okay.
You guys watching Facebook Live have any questions for Katie Mae? Let me know. And you're right, this is Chef AJ broadcasting live from her phone. Sometimes I'll broadcast from my phone, Chef AJ, if you want to see some more of the demos from TrueNorth Health Center. If you have any questions, type them in and we will ask questions. Leslie Parker.
Hi, Leslie.
Yeah, she's awesome. She wants to know if this recipe is on your website.
The spinach artichoke dip is on the website. It's a premium recipe, though.
Aha.
Leslie is in. Leslie, tell Leslie and anyone in the Culinary Gym, you have access to the recipe club. If you haven't logged into my new website yet, then email me and I'll get you set up with that, and you can access all the premium recipes.
What do you think of convection ovens?
Convection oven, I love them. Does anyone have anything against them?
No.
Oh, I love them because they cook things faster. They circulate the air so things cook more evenly. I like them more.
Diane wants to know if you can please repeat the recent blog podcast you mentioned.
The most recent one, Found My Fitness.
Thank you.
It's a woman, I apologize I don't know her name, but she's great. So let's serve up this tempeh. You guys ready for some tempeh Reuben?
Yes.
And this could go, I laid it onto, if I take more time, like for the St. Patty's Day, you can make potato bread. I grate potato and put it in the waffle iron and make like a potato bread, and then the Thousand Island dressing and this, and it's really tasty all together.
Potato bread? Explain
Yes.
that. Is it like,
Well,
What is
before I
it?
do, Sheila, or anyone else, is anyone else interested in helping out? Sure. Yeah, awesome. Oh, thank you, Tori. Next one will. Oh no, that would be great actually, because she could plate and then you could walk them.
were reusing our plates.
Yes, if you have.
That's gonna go around with the thing, or?
Yeah, but it's a very heavy pan.
Can we
Oh
put
no,
it
it's
in a
pretty
bowl?
heavy.
Part of the gym.
maybe someone can carry the pan and someone else can serve it.
Sounds good, I'll do it.
Okay, it's definitely gonna take 2 hands,
Oh, it smells good,
and you might need a
guys.
break. You might need to like
carry it.
switch roles.
Oh, yum.
Let me get a picture
Isn't
too.
that
Okay. Yeah.
Can you serve with this?
You can serve with this. Okay.
Are you ready? Oh, better.
Here, you want
Are you gonna do it?
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like I can serve. Are you fasting right now? Because
No. If anyone's fasting, you don't have an option of helping them. Okay. So our next dish, while that's going, we are going to make spiralized noodles. So here's your plate. My new thing, which AJ's been promoting for a long time, is not using flour. Now, I took a little bit longer to give up the flour because it's one, I just really like doing a variety of dishes for people. I'm an instructor, I want to do everything. So I have pizza recipes with like garbanzo flour and rice flour and things like that. But for me, I actually would rather not have flour. Actually, I personally, like AJ doesn't do grain or nuts, I don't do very well with grains. So I'm not giving them up completely because of what I teach, but I'm looking for ways to do grain-inspired dishes without the grain. So what I do with the noodles is vegetable noodles, but I call them vibrant noodles because their color is so amazing. So what we do here is, and this is very common with zucchini noodles. So this device is the Paderno.
It's not the
You don't
spiruli?
Katie?
Paderno, and I just got it. You can use that. The reviews I saw on that were that the noodles came out very thin because it's using the thinnest blade, and they didn't have options to.
Hey, Abby, hold that up for the viewers.
They didn't have options of changing the blades.
Almost, huh?
We have that spiralizer in the kitchen here. Kathy uses it all the time, but they don't have. This one has different blades. So this will make a wider ribbon, which is actually really nice for salads. Then we'll do 2 different ones. So we're gonna do the first one with the beet here. And we're gonna.
Leslie says, hey, Abby and Keith, she just saw you, so look at this. Is pretty cool that when you get recognized on a Facebook Live. You know that, you guys? You guys are something else. That's for just that brief minute.
So we're putting the beet right in here, and a lot of times people are doing this with zucchini is very popular because it looks like pasta, it's soft like the pasta we're used to, and it goes through here really easily. But you can also do the harder vegetables. So that's what I'm doing here is beet. I have both sides cut off. I have the beet peeled. You don't need to peel your vegetables, but it's going to be more coarse if you leave the peel on. And it takes a little pressure to get it through. So we're just going, oh, it's not even, it's not flat enough. It needs to be completely flat on each side. Like, not just flat because I had them flat, but it needs to be even. The whole vegetable kind of needs to be even. Push it in there. What was that? No, this is Paderno. And I looked up reviews. I had one at home and it was moving a little bit on me, so I looked up to see if I could get a better one. And America's Test Kitchen, Cooks Illustrated, it's not in there enough. They,
See, this is why Katie Mae looks like this, because she does things like this and the garlic technique, and that's what gives her such awesome arms. We figured it out.
Sections at the bottom that would stick to a surface.
Yeah.
They want you to.
It's just not sticking because of this.
Well, it's that, and you need to push it further into the beet.
Where did you get the Padermo?
See what it's already moving, so it's not. You know what I mean? I don't.
In a second. I think it's easier to go down.
I agree, and that's why I like that one, but it doesn't have the blades that switch.
Right.
So you figure out what works for you.
I cannot
The
see
one
it.
I have at home though was easier than this, which was the easy. If you look it up, the new and easy spiralizer, that's the one I have at home.
Diane comments that if you use this on a kitchen counter, the suction feet make it easier to use because it doesn't move.
Yeah, exactly. But I have to compare it, use it on my kitchen counter and see how I like it that way.
Also seems like because that's so hard, if you were spiralizing stuff, it might be a lot less.
Yeah, exactly. The zucchini's a lot easier. But I don't want to scare you. I mean, I hope I didn't scare you off from doing that. But it is worth it because you need the strength. Like,
Right.
if you can't do that, you need to get to the gym. Like, you need some way of building muscle because we need to live. We're not just eating plants and then sitting on the couch.
We're not? Oh,
Hopefully.
But do you know that they actually do sell these at Whole Foods already spiralized now?
You're ruining my message.
We're a great team.
But this one,
I'm sorry, guys, but I know that Sam is never going to do this. So, right, Sam? You're never going to self-spiralize, right?
self-spiralize.
I have a spiralizer, it's a bed meter.
Okay. I was just teasing.
If you need a plate.
No, I would never do it, yes, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Okay,
And you have this.
sweet potato too. Too many.
Well, you could make curly fries in the oven using that.
What was that?
You could make curly, I make curly
Yeah.
fries.
Which one is roots?
So we're gonna. So when you guys are done with that, would you mind scooping that into this container? I don't want to use that can. Okay. Thank you so much. I usually only do 2 to 3 recipes here, and even then I got a full table. Okay, so sweet potato. What is that?
I just have full tables even when I'm not demonstrating anything.
Let's put a plate on. You gotta improvise. Usually you have.
Ooh,
Okay,
that's
so
a little
this is the way it usually is.
easier than the beet, huh? Beautiful.
It's that first time, if you don't push it in all the way, and it starts to, the spikes start to spin, it's like how you ruin a nail or a screwdriver. You know, the screwdriver and the screw? I don't know, is there a term for that? Stripping it, yes. Okay.
W. Shane Williams wishes you a Merry Christmas, Katie.
Merry Christmas, Shane. Okay, so we are going to add our beets to the pan here, and we'll start cooking these.
There's no water there, right?
I didn't, but I'm going to check my recipe because this is a brand new recipe, and I think I add a little bit of liquid.
It says onions first and peppers second.
Onion and beet. So I have the onion here. I'm going to add them at the same time. We're not going to add any ginger. Unless,
What recipe is this?
This is a lemon ginger sweet noodles. Okay, we'll add ginger. Someone's got to get ginger. That would be awesome. Thank you. So look at these noodles. Okay, who wants pasta? Like, who wants wheat pasta when you can have beets?
Right.
Right? I think the beets are going to take a little bit longer to cook, so I'm going to let them go just for a little bit before the sweet potatoes. I didn't.
So instead of, if you don't like beets, instead you can use zucchini or something? Is this enough?
Yes, that's great. You could use, if you don't like beets, you could use any vegetable that is hard or semi-firm. Cucumber will work. That's as the softest you could get. An apple will work. A pear will work. A parsnip, a carrot, all the hard vegetables.
And a parsnip in a pear tree.
Parsnip and pear. You could do a recipe of parsnip and pear.
Yeah, wouldn't
Is that where
So,
that came from?
yeah, so why don't you like beets? Gotta know, because they're so awesome. Have you ever had them raw?
Maybe it reminds me of borscht.
Ah, but have you ever had raw beets? Because raw spiralized
I'm going
beets
to
are
add a
amazing.
little bit of water.
I can tell you why I don't.
So you know.
Why?
Because they're high in oxalates and cause kidney stones.
Oh. But for everyone or just you?
Very high. Well, they have 925 milligrams per 1/2 cup, and I'm only allowed about 125.
Oh, boy.
So I could eat one little shred. That's it.
Wow.
Also,
I'll
I
take
was
yours.
eating a beet raw.
Okay.
One time when I was, I don't know what I was making, something with beets. Oh, I was making my beet lentil burger, which is online. It might be a premium recipe. It might be free though, check it out. It's an amazing burger and it gives you that pink color from the beets. But I was eating the beet raw and I started coughing. And I wouldn't stop coughing for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes because, and I can have raw beets, no problem, but I usually have it with other ingredients. If you're eating just the raw beet, it may cause, it may like just trigger your throat to itch.
That's what
So
happens with
be
black
careful
pepper.
with that.
Black pepper and the causes me to cough.
Yeah, it was crazy. I did like Google this. What's wrong? And it's common for people to have that issue. So we're gonna add our ginger here. The ginger has a little peel on it, which is totally edible and healthy. If you're gonna put this into a blender or even a food processor, don't worry about peeling it.
Never peel it.
Yeah. Even when you dice it up, you don't.
I never peel it. I
you
figure
don't
there must
need
be
to.
something good in the skin if it's organic, so why the heck?
Yeah, same with all these vegetables, like the peel I'll be left on the sweet potato.
I never
But if you
peel.
want to peel it, use a spoon instead of, don't use the vegetable peeler because I don't need to right now, but normally there's all the little branches and you need to get into the crevices. And the spoon allows you to do that. So you just peel it back like that. And, you know, a lot of times when you cook, you think about who's eating it too. You know, what you do for yourself may be different than what you would do for everyone, your family who's
Not me.
trying to get
They get two choices at my house: take it or leave it. Do not please others.
So we're gonna just mince this ginger. Nice and small. So your most important tool in the kitchen, the VIP player in the kitchen, is your knife. You need a chef's knife. Does anyone not have a chef's knife at home? Okay. You want a recommendation? Yeah.
The one Lorena Bobbitt used, I hear, is very good.
Who's Lorena Bobbitt?
Who's Lorena Bobbitt? This shows you how young Katie Mae is. A wiener whack, a wiener whack, a wiener whack, a wiener whack. In the bedroom, the quiet bedroom, John Bobbitt sleeps tonight. In the kitchen, the mighty kitchen, Lorena wields the knife. A wiener whack, a wiener whack, a wiener whack, a wiener whack. That's who Lorena Bobbitt is.
I have no idea.
Now you guys know why he has me here only once a year. She cut off her
we're gonna
husband's
add our
peanuts
sweet
with a
potato
knife. You don't remember that?
Remember
She-
for what?
She threw it out the window.
Because he was being adulterous.
So what's your recommendation for a chef's
Not that one.
Lorena Bobbitt.
Not Lorena Bobbitt's. This one is the Victorinox. Victorinox. But it's $40. It's a Swiss Army knife brand, and it's recommended by America's Test Kitchen as the best knife for that price. You know, for an affordable price, this is the best because it has a wide blade. The handle's really nice to hold. It's easy, light. Victor, like Victor, Inox. Victorinox. The other brand, it's actually a knife maker. I really love this knife maker. His name is Ken Onion. Does anyone know Ken Onion? Have you used his knives?
No, but I know his brother Louis Garlic.
Okay.
You're always
So we're going to add a little bit of lemon, as I tell you. But Ken Onion is an American chef and now knife maker. He makes these amazing knives, but they're funky shaped. They have a wider blade and it's really curved, which makes it really ergonomical for you to hold and rock back and forth, because that's the motion that we should be using with a chef's knife. And the handle is amazing, and it's even got a groove here and here so that you're holding it in the right way. But I think it might be the shape that kind of throws people off, because not a lot of chefs use them. And so he has done a couple different lines, and they always like fade out. And so that's the case with his most recent one, which I think was the Rain series. I mean, like the chefs, they don't get great reviews.
With Ken Onion on it,
Right.
even though you think it's really
Right, and I've seen a couple people, I've looked at these reviews, and then there's some people who are like, what are you guys talking about? You're crazy, because they're amazing. So it's mixed reviews, but I love them, and right now, because he's no longer making them, you can get a big discount on them. So I bought the knife for like $2.79 or something, and now you could probably get it for $100, under $100 even. And I brought, because they're on sale, and I love them so much, I've just bought 3 more kinds.
And how do you
So I
keep them
recommend
sharp?
So I'd order them online. I don't get I would love to meet him. I think he's in Hawaii. Yes, Amazon. But you can look. If you just Google it, they'll give you the best price. Sometimes it's not Amazon. You know, if you shop on Google. What was I going to say? Oh, how to sharpen them. Whenever you buy any knives, go to some, a knife shop. There's one right down the street from me. Or go to Sur La Table, a restaurant supply store, sometimes farmers markets, yes. And ask them about sharpening the knife, because you can use a steel for honing your knife, which could be done daily, but sharpening it is different. Honing it is just keeping it sharp, where sharpening it, does a different, stronger job. So the sharpening, though, the type of sharpener you use depends on the blade. So you have to talk to someone that knows, Japanese versus German knives need different sharpeners.
Can you just bring it in to like Sur La Table and
Yeah.
sharpen it for you?
Yes. It'll cost a small fee, but it's insignificant, really.
Some fabric stores will do it.
Fabric stores.
Yes. Oh, yes, scissors.
Oh, and this is actually the Ken Onion.
Did I use?
I should pass this around, except it's a little dangerous to do that.
Oh, is that what it is? Is that
Yeah.
a Ken Onion?
Yes.
Oh,
You
that's
see
pretty.
the first one I bought was even more ergonomical than this one. This one he was like, and it was so expensive to make because it was so custom done. But yeah, isn't it gorgeous? And the blade texture is really cool. And you can look them up and see some videos of them.
What is the name of that knife?
This one is the Santilli. It's actually a mix of the Santoku knife and a utility knife. And so I use this with like apples or Brussels sprouts, anything that's a little bit smaller that doesn't need the large chef's knife. So make sure you're stirring your veggies here because you want these to cook. We gotta go check the,
And is that a 7-inch?
this one is either 7 or 6. I think it is the 7. 7-inch Santilli. And that's a unique knife to that brand. No other Santilli is not a common type of knife. Okay, let's do one more lemon in here. One more half. I'm gonna go check the spinach artichoke dip. What should we dip in there?
San Francisco sourdough bread would be good.
How about cucumber? Cucumber and bell peppers, what I usually go to. And actually the cucumber you can do little slices, cut it at an angle if you want, and then put the spinach artichoke dip on top and serve it like a bruschetta. Like cucumber, not bruschetta, but crostini, cucumber crostinis.
Lettuce too.
The potato bread, maybe the potato bread you make, I just wanna know, like,
I'll
how does
tell
it
you
end
that.
up turn up, how does it end up, what? Is it-
So I just did it in my culinary training. I had people do it, and they were really impressed with how much you could use it, how much it comes out like bread and could be used as bread. So the waffle iron, which Sandy, a blogger online, came up with this idea of putting the potato in the waffle iron. If you've been following Chef AJ at all, you know it. It's amazing. But you just put a whole potato cooked in Yukon Gold potatoes. This method, it comes out pretty thick depending on how far you smush it down. This method is grating the potatoes first and then putting them in the waffle iron. I like to mix in garlic and onion, black pepper for a little savoriness because when you get bread at the store, it's not plain. It's got a savoriness to it. So I add a little spice to it and then put it right in the waffle iron and close it. And you don't even need to put a binder in there. You just put it all in there and close it and let it go for 15 minutes minimum. And it should be 2 inches thick when you put it in and it will flatten out. But don't check it before 15 minutes. And even then, I would be really sure, lift it very slowly and you get a fork or something so you can kind of pull down if you need to, if any's sticking at the top. But if it looks like it's sticking too much, close it and don't open it.
And then,
I would even go maybe 18 to 20 minutes.
So you're shredding it, you're putting it in.
You grate it beforehand and then you put it in. And it comes out with the waffle texture, but it's crunchier, firmer. The longer you let it go, the firmer it gets. And then I put on my website, you can look up peanut butter and jelly. And you'll see a whole post about this potato bread.
do you need to, because I tried the waffle on a waffle iron and it didn't work, but do you need to make it really, really hot before you start using it?
Yes, you want it, if there's a settings, you want it full highest it could go. I don't have settings on mine, and I have, I think I have the KitchenAid, which is a big, 4 square waffle iron, and it's really nice.
How long does that spinach dip need to be in the oven?
I'm gonna go get it right now.
Okay.
If it comes out a little toasty, that's nice. The noodles here, well, let's taste these. You want to make sure that they're soft to your liking. You could eat these raw, so it could be just warming them up for a minute. But you could let them go a little bit longer, and if you want them even softer, you can add a little more water and let them continue to cook.
She likes her. Look at this figure, guys. Holy moly. Doesn't this make you want to eat plants?
Plants all the way. Who's going? Anyone going on the vegan cruise? The holistic vegan cruise. Age has been
3 years. You going?
this time.
Wow.
Are you going?
No. This is my first year not going.
SOS-free?
No. But you
can
can
ask.
see next year. Ask for SOS free chefs because I want to speak next year. That's what I want to do. I'm getting the art dip. We'll be right back.
When is it, Chef
It's often in the spring. It's March, and sometimes it's in February. It's completely vegan. It's called Holistic Holiday at Sea, and I've been the chef there for the last 3 years, and it's about 1,800 people. It's a beautiful ship called the MSC Divina. It's an Italian cruise line. They cruise the Caribbean, and you can get vegan food, and you can get oil-free food, but I don't think you can get true SOS-free.
Can you take your dog?
If he's a legitimate service
do
dog,
yo-
yes.
Do they do yoga?
You take yours.
I'll answer that in a sec. Do they do yoga? Yes, there are many yoga teachers. There are many other teachers, like they'll have the athletes there. Like, for instance, Robert Cheek will do fitness classes, and they'll do all kinds of other things. It's very cool, and a lot of interactions. There's maybe 10 things at the same time, like lectures. Dr. Esselstyn, Dr. Campbell, Dr. Barnard, Dr. Greger. Those are 4 of the doctors that come almost every year, if not every year.
What is it cruise run?
What does it cost?
No, where does it
Oh, where does it run? So they change the route slightly, but it's always the Caribbean. So you start in Miami, Florida. One year we went to Puerto Rico. One year we went to the Cayman Islands, Jamaica. It's MSC Divina. It's an Italian ship. Boy, doesn't that look beautiful? It's thank you, Diane, for posting. It's a tasteofhealth.org. Oh my God, this smells so good.
The convection oven got it, because of the air circulation, it's a little fluffier, like it rose a little bit.
So they have one in here? The convection?
Yeah, that's all they use in here.
Oh, you're kidding. Convection oven? Better than regular.
Smoke. Yeah. So I'm gonna chop up some vegetables here, and then we'll serve these last 2 dishes. I've been mentioning the recipe club. If anyone's wondering about that, the recipe club is a plant-based recipe club, and it's 2 new recipes from me every week, and a new cooking video every week. And so
You can just walk. It's all right. Just walk. It's no
all the
worries.
recipes are plant-based, SOS-free, gluten-free. They're what we do here. There's a couple recipes that I don't do here, like if it has cacao, or I started using a little bit of miso here and there. I don't use any salt, but I use, because I'm able to work in my own location now, and I work with a lot of people that are not SOS-free. They've never been exposed to TrueNorth, so I use a little bit of tamari and miso fermented foods, but aside from that, there's no salt in anything. So those recipes come out every week, 2 new recipes and a cooking video. And if you're interested, it's $75 for a year or $9 for a month. But I do a TrueNorth special for $75 for lifetime access. If anyone is interested in that, it's lifetime for $75, and you get the cookbooks, which are $20. So afterwards, they're going to rush us out of here to clean up, but I can take payment in the lobby after it's all cleaned out up here. Not the lobby, right outside in the courtyard. If anyone is interested in those, I just need your email. Actually, I have an email list here. If you guys want to get on the email list, it's completely free, and I send out 2 new recipes. Sorry, I send out a free recipe every week, in addition to the paid ones. So you get the free recipe no matter what, if you want to get on the list. And if you miss this, you can find me in the courtyard afterwards, but I'll also be here next Tuesday. So, yay! Okay.
When's the next cruise?
I couldn't.
It's the first, like it's March 12th. It's the second week of March.
And it might already be sold out.
Yeah.
Is that? It's too late to sign up for this year, or
It's
is there
still available to
Nice.
sign up.
It's still available. Come. I'd love to see you guys.
The cheapest room without a window is around, a single is around $1,800. That's not bad. Yeah, but it flies out of Miami, so you have $1,000 in airfare. Well, you could do a double and it would be like $1,400 a person.
So save up for next year.
There's also a vegan cruise in Europe.
Wow.
Goes to Budapest and
You guys stay on my list, and eventually we'll be doing retreats in Latin America and Bali, plant-based cooking retreats. Let's do 2018.
Yeah.
Where should we go? Bali. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, Bali in 2018. AJ and I will do it together.
Yeah, baby. We should really make something like that. It's difficult because when you produce an event, you're responsible at the beginning for all the money, and that's why it's scary.
But you get people, if you are putting it on, people know the food. Yeah, they know we got quality going on.
Diane Bassett wanted you to clarify the cost of the recipe club. Is it for 1 year or a lifetime?
So online, it's $9 per month or $75 for a year. If you email me and tell me you watched this video, or anyone in class, you get it $75 for a year.
Wow.
And that price is going to go up at the new year.
It's 75 for a lifetime.
99.
Yeah.
Not in-
If you last a lifetime,
If you last
like that,
Is it your
Well,
lifetime or our
yeah, that's a
It's
good
pantry recipes as well. I will be, the long-term goal, just so you guys know, is not, it's not about me. My company, like, I'm maybe the face, but it may be because I have a good body, maybe because I know how to cook, but I want to teach other people how to cook. I want to teach other people, especially young people, you know, instead of becoming a yoga instructor, they can become a culinary trainer and start a culinary gym. The culinary gyms will be nationwide. So the first one's in Santa Rosa, but they'll be in Austin and New York and eventually around the world, because people need this and their parents aren't teaching them. You know, you should be teaching your kids, but God knows, you know, kids don't always want to listen to their parents. So if you know someone that wants to be a culinary trainer, I want to help them. And then eventually when I get culinary trainers on my team, the recipes will come from all these other people, not just us. So.
Katie, if I said you had a beautiful body, would you hold it against me?
It's in the making. We're all in the making. I love country. Love country. Someone do a country song at for the talent show.
Oh, yeah. At True North again. Just can't wait to get to True North again.
So
I
if
found fun is water.
someone could
fasting
help
with
me
friends.
with the samples, we're gonna do a little bit of the noodles. And
That's it for the noodles.
a little bit of the dip.
Wow.
You guys still have your forks?
Yes,
Spoons,
still got our
and
forks.
then we'll put the vegetables over here. Any questions?
For the noodles,
extra portion
Ginger, lemon, sweet potato, and beet.
actually, you can't eat nuts right now.
I see.
Thank you.
Well, I could just ask for a plate. I'll just ask for a plate with just beets.
I wanna know when
You want just beets?
for me.
Oh. Me. Thank you. Well, this looks amazing.
We're not gonna have a lot of this.
All right. Do we wanna?
So when you're doing the spiralized vegetables, if you think that your veggies are too long, just take some herb scissors or scissors and cut them.
Should we do the recipe club for 1 year or?
No, we just got it. We talked it.
Oh, you already replied to her?
That didn't go through.
What's your?
I didn't go through?
Liars.
Different
And then
color.
the dip, it gets a little, I think it's a little dry. You got 5 minutes, everyone's gotta get out of here. No, I'm just kidding. But thank you all for coming.
Yum.
And as you get your food, as you get your samples, if you wanna step out, that would be helpful, just. And I'm really excited to see you on Tuesday.
All right, everybody, thank